Now, if you haven't already heard in the last week or so, the SEC have officially filed charges against Ripple. Now, while this video won't go into the specifics of the case, I'm going to talk through why I think this is the perfect time to buy based on the charts. So let's go. So let's analyze the charts. We're currently on the 4-hour, but let's go to a higher time frame so we can see where the bias lies. If we zoom out a bit, we can clearly see that from this period in June of 2019, we've had extreme selling pressure. How do we know this? By not using this trend line, but by effectively looking at the market structure. So if we look closely here, we can see that we've had lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows. So during this period, if you were to take shorts around previous areas of resistance, you would have been in a very lucrative trade. However, I feel that the bias of the market and the bias of XRP has changed. Why and how do I know that? I know that because I can see a clear break in structure. Since XRP broke below support, it became resistance around October 2019. An area that's been tested multiple times. So we know that on these multiple tests, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that this was a strong area of resistance for XRP. Since then, price, or more recently, price has exploded. Price has now crashed because we now have fear in the markets because of the case being brought to XRP by SEC. But for me, as a trader, this is the perfect time to trade when there's too much greed, and in this case, when there's a lot of fear. If we think logically, we can see that price is testing an area of previous resistance as support. Now, we don't know if this area will continue to break down and create new lows, or hold as support and continue higher. Because what we need to remember is that trading is the game of probabilities. We can increase the probabilities in our favor by trading in key areas of the market. Now for me, XRP is in a key area of the market. This weekly candle still has 1 day and 11 hours to close, so we can't go by much of it at the moment. But if we go to the lower time frames, we can see that price is beginning to slow down. Now how do I know that? Well, if we look at the previous candles, we can see how large they are. And let's just zoom in a little bit. Price is beginning to slow, and it's slowing around areas where we have previous resistance and now potentially support. Now, based on your entry criteria, you could take a long position in this area while everybody else is fearful. Trading when the markets is between the pendulum of being extremely greedy and extremely fearful is when we can increase our probability of being right, coupled with the fact that we're trading in key areas. Also, one important thing to remember is that when the market is oversold or overbought, you potentially have the greatest capacity to have the best risk-reward ratios. Again, another point, the market structure has changed, and we're now potentially looking at a new bullish cycle of XRP. Now, that doesn't mean that the trade is 100% going to work out. Trading is a game of probabilities, and I've explained that by showing you 2 scenarios that could happen. This analysis could be completely wrong, or this analysis could be completely perfect. As a trader, I'm open to both possibilities because I know I'm prepared to risk a certain amount of my capital each and every time I trade, knowing that over the long term, I will hopefully, and as I've shown, will be right more times than I'm not. So let's have a quick look at the last two scenarios of what XRP could do from this position going forward. So if we use the ghost tool on TradingView, price could continue to make smaller and smaller candles in comparison to these large, big bearish candles, and we could have a small bounce. We can have a bounce up to previous support, which could now become resistance, and the price could then go on to make new lows. We don't know at this stage. The second scenario, and the scenario that we're hoping for, is that price creates a bounce, touches previous support, which may become resistance, create a new lower high, and then go on to make new highs. That's the scenario that we're hoping for, but we're prepared for any of the two. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any thoughts or comments, be sure to leave them below. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.